What language framework is the game going to be in? It's JavaScript, isn't it, guys? It's funny because I'm asking chat what the language is in my own game. That's quite funny. But that's because it's honestly not code focused. This project isn't. It's made in RPG Maker MV, guys. So if you want to know more, we've got this. I'll tell you more about it. So it's a great little engine for people like me who aren't coders, and it's perfect. So yay. Yes, it's JS. Yay, I got it. So, yeah, that's the thing, guys. Streaming science and technology, guys. And that is like the coding channel, as we all know, on Twitch. And sometimes I feel like I don't belong because I'm not really do coding in this project. But it's really, I see it as the game dev category, to be honest. And that's what we're doing. We're making a game, so I shouldn't feel that way. It's a game. So I did actually, on this topic of that, I did make a tweet last night, and I kind of requested the Twitch make a writing and world building category. It will never get listened to, obviously, but I wanted to at least try. Trying is wouldn't hurt. And I always said, like, when our streams are more writing based, it would be really nice to have that sort of category to go in. But when we do more technical stuff on stream, then science and technology. But we gotta just deal with what we've got. We haven't got that category, so gotta get over it. You do belong, Rose. End of the day, you're a streaming game dev. Yeah, I mean, it is silly, like my brain. Yeah, I know that I do belong, but sometimes, you know, when you get those silly, intrusive thoughts that are like, you're not a coder though, Rose, you know, you don't have code up in stream, like, ever, so I feel like I'm an imposter in that way. And at chat, why would you choose this RPG Maker? What does that mean? Reword what you're trying to say, because that could come across as you being a bit judgmental. But okay, so what were the decisions behind it? Okay, so the reason why I'm using RPG Maker is because I'm not a coder. Simple as that, and I want to make a game. So that's why. Because there's people out there, guys, that want to make games, they want to tell a story, they've got really good ideas, and maybe they're a writer, maybe they're a director, maybe they love making scenes and characters, and they can't code because they've never studied code. What do they do then? Do they just say, no, shame, might as well not do it then because I can't code? No, of course not. They should do it. And that's why RPG Maker's great, because it allows people to put together a great story without necessarily needing to learn code. If you plan your week ahead, you can always stream one topic a day, even the art category, on the days you are editing sprites. Yeah, and on all honesty, I feel like a massive imposter in the art category because I don't create the sprites from scratch. And even editing, you know, I'm doing some art, I guess, but I feel like, you know, it's cheating in a way, and I feel bad about that. And I say, no, stop thinking like that. This project, if I did everything from scratch, the code, the art, the writing, I wouldn't be able to cope. That would be putting way too much on myself. So, of course, like, I shall not feel bad for just editing sprites. You know? Of course not. I use Game Maker Studio for similar reasons, though it's a little more in depth. Yeah, Game Maker's another one that's pretty good for new people to making games. And I think from what I gather, there's a bit of a higher reputation for Game Maker than RPG Maker. RPG Maker gets bad rap and it makes me sad. But yes, Game Maker tends to be overall and one that's appreciated and is a good one. I even have Game Maker myself, but the trial period ran out for it. And I think Game Maker's perfect, especially if you're wanting to make something a little bit more flexible and not necessarily an RPG. Like if you want to make another type of genre game, it's a good one as well. Because RPG Maker can only do so much. And there's definitely some limitations with it. And RPG Maker's probably only good if you're making an RPG. Not at all. I'm working with 3D till I learn to do it myself. I buy the assets and edit as I need to, exactly as real. So I know this stuff, and 100% I know that I shouldn't feel like an imposter. But sometimes those little thoughts trickle in, especially when people come in stream and they're like, have you done all the art? And that kind of gets it happening more. But, you know, yeah. I like Game Maker. I used that when I was a teenager. Awesome. I'm looking at this RPG Maker. It seems not as flexible. I'm also leaning towards Game Maker. Yeah, it depends what you want to make, Chrono. Like, if for me, Raindrop Chronicles was always going to be a Final Fantasy VI Chrono Trigger retro JRPG in style game, so it was never going to be anything that wasn't that. So for that reason, RPG Maker just fits. And if I was going to make a simulation game or a platform game or you know, an adventure game or anything that wasn't an RPG Maker style game, then I would probably consider Game Maker. Undertale was made in Game Maker, I think. Yeah, it was. Yeah, Undertale was actually. It's also the nature of the project itself. Being a community-driven game, RPG Maker makes it easy to implement ideas from chat and move at a fun pace. Exactly. Like, I know for a fact if I was using Game Maker or any other software that wasn't RPG Maker, the way these streams are would be completely different, guys. I would probably be spending 90% of the time actually in the code thing. It would become a coding stream, let's face it. It wouldn't be the creative ideas stream that it actually is, because most of the time we just brainstorm together, don't we? Like, we have, for example, this kind of thing behind us and we just ramble and talk about ideas. And yeah, we have RPG Maker open, of course, when we do scene building and work on our battles and all that kind of thing, but it's more or less very straightforward to make a game in RPG Maker, so it just allows so much more time to talk and think about ideas and write and build the world. And so that is what our project is, and it's very, like, doesn't exist on Twitch. I'm like the only person that kind of does this sort of thing, so that's another, you know, that is very daunting. It's scary, guys, to do something that nobody else is, like, because you kind of think, well, is it good? And, you know, I'm the only one doing this, so is it even good? But I would say it is, because you guys seem to be having a good time and I'm having a good time. So yeah, they're both different. You have to remember, in the end, they're all just game engines and are aimed for different things. Yeah. And I was never interested in doing coding streams, guys. I'm not even interested in becoming a coder. And I know obviously you kind of have to make games, but for me, I've always just been interested in telling stories, not being a coder. So I'm obviously going to take the shortcut if I can, like the easiest way for me to tell a story. I'm going to do that, you know. I'm not going to waste time. I'm getting old, guys. I'm going to just follow my vision and get on with it. I don't have time to learn anymore. And of course, who knows, maybe I will want to learn code in the future, but it's not on my agenda at the moment. Not at the age of 30. I'm just getting too old for that now. Okay, Chrono Trigger like a game? I'm listening, LOLC name. I take it you love Chrono Trigger then. Hi Rose, are you able to make little tricks like at the Millennium Festival in RPG Maker? What sort of tricks, National Mars? Have you got any particular? I can totally let you know. Just give me something specific and I'll let you know. With the correct sprites and custom code, I would say yes. Yeah, I'd say you can. With the Carol the Barrel flashback scene, for example, that I got quite ambitious with that and I did more in it than I originally thought I could. You gotta sometimes have a think and break the engine a bit to do things, but I definitely did some cool stuff with it and I can't wait to show you guys in our scene discussion section once I've got it done. And the reason why I've changed my schedule as well is because of this, because I feel like really bad that I haven't got this up yet, and same with the character sheets. So it's going to help a lot just changing the schedule a bit, guys. I'm going to have to make that bot command now so you guys know what the new schedule is. So I'm going to just edit that as well. Hi Kia, how you doing? At the ripe old age of 30, yeah. I mean, 30 isn't old, of course, but I always find that that age is the age you start to feel like you have to be sorted in life. Like, there's always an immense amount of pressure to feel like you have to have got your stuff together by the time you're 30, and it's not true. You can find that any age. But it's society's fault. They make it seem like you have to. You have to have your house, you have to have a baby, you have to be married, and it's like, nope. Okay. I'm noticing if you get creative, you can push RPG Maker a bit, and I was surprised with some of the things you can do. Yeah, you just gotta be creative, you know. If you're creative, then you can do anything. You can do anything, even in RPG Maker. I agree, Twisted Mouse. Yeah, since it's applied, you would have a variable set up and just increment it when the player tries to do something. Yellow is a good colour on you, by the way. Thank you. Your name's yellow as well. It must be your favourite colour. Let me give my one-word advice. I don't know anything about this framework, but framework's great until they can't do something intrinsically and then they collapse on themselves. Yeah, and we're very early in the project, so I'm no expert on how far RPG Maker can go. You know, that might be something that takes me by surprise later on, but you know, you just gotta do it. And I have a vision in mind for what I want to make, and I think it's very possible. And there's games that I like that were made in RPG Maker that I'm inspired by, that I'm going in a similar direction with our game, so we can do it. I know what you're saying. I just turned 29 and feel like I'm so behind, but I like to pace my life going in. Yeah, it's difficult, especially like when you went to college and university and you got told, oh, you're gonna be doing so well, you're going to be all like the top of life, and you were told that when you was in your early 20s, and that actually didn't happen. It's like, well, my name is blue on my screen. I always say that's weird. Yeah, it's yellow on mine. Your name's pink on my screen. Everybody's name's a different colour. That's funny. Yeah, I've seen that before, the names being different colours. It's strange. I believe my name's always red. Is my name red, guys? Let's see. Is my name red? I think it's random unless you choose one. Oh, right. Your name is red. Yeah, I'm glad. So, yeah, we've been having a bit of a chat today, folks, about stuffs. Things have got a bit heavy, but that is fine because, you know, I think that's important. We have to be honest. I have to be honest with you guys about what I'm thinking and what's on my mind as well. I'm not going to just be a robot making a game every second of the stream. I like to open up to you guys and let you find out more about me as a person too. So yeah, I have fun having these conversations. If you don't set your colour, then it appears different for everyone and chooses a random colour when you enter a chat. Right, that's it guys, make sure you give yourself a colour. Then you won't be accidentally given a really gross colour. Cool. Okay, so Rose is live. I'm just changing my schedule command, guys. Every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at approximately, well, I'm not going to say, I'm going to say at 2. So I'm really deeply sorry, you guys across the pond, that I'm going to be streaming an hour earlier. Some of you might not be able to catch me so early anymore. If I could change it, I would. If I could stream from 3 to 7, that would be great. But unfortunately, that's not possible because of my dinner. And I really want to get those 4 hours in, you know, especially if I'm taking a day off in the week and putting it down to 3 streams instead of 4, getting that extra hour, and it'd be awesome. And you never know, we could meet some folks that only can come in early, maybe. Better for me, your stream starts at 10:30 p.m. in Australia. Yeah, so it's great for you guys that are living that side of the world, and probably maybe some people in Europe it'll be better for as well. I work 3rd shift, so I'm good catching your streams in the AM. Awesome, that's good. Earlier suits me as I tend to watch your stream while I work. Well, that's encouraging for sure, because it's always like I wonder if this will be different to work okay when you change things around, but for sure. And it's only a little bit earlier than usual, so it's not going to be like too drastic a change. Okay, so there we go. That's the new schedule command then. Rose is live on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at... okay, so it doesn't start until next week, by the way, so I probably should edit that. Starting from next week, because I'm not going to be live tomorrow, guys. This is starting from next week when I'll be streaming Friday. I don't want to make anybody think I'll be here tomorrow. I'll probably miss a bit, but I'll join when I'm home. Awesome. Well, of course, guys, you just come whenever you fancy. Remember to change the Streamlabs one below. Streamlabs one, oh yes, there's a few places I've got to change the schedule. In my panels, also on the Discord as well, and on my YouTube bio too. So there's a few little places to change it. Thank you, VM, for the follow. How are you doing? Good to see you. But yes, guys, I desperately want a writing category on Twitch, because I'd feel like I'd belong there. I really would. I'd still use science and technology. I'd still go in science and technology, but really only for relevant streams, like battle system creation and more of the techie stuff. But streams like today, when we're doing dialogue writing and all that kind of stuff, I think it'd be cool. But I don't think it's going to happen. You know, even if this tweet went viral, it probably wouldn't happen. But I've heard there's a petition, but I need to figure out where that is because I can't find it. Okay, guys, so this is our last stream of the week this week before our new schedule starts next week. And this will be our last dialogue stream, I think. I think we'll be starting some scene making on Monday. We'll be turning all this into a scene. How do you handle doing armor, weapons, enemy mechanics? Well, as for armour and weapons, we have really not focused on that, in all honesty, so far. There will be an item stream, probably a few item streams, very soon, once we finished the battle with the fruit guys. Because the reason why we've not really focused on items in it, because we've had 124 streams now and none of them have been about items, it's just simply because we've not got to the point where it's relevant to talk about them. It's all been about mapping the first area, it's been about doing the story, and obviously some of the enemies and battle mechanics. We've done battle mechanics though, and we've had quite a few streams on that. They're usually called creating enemies on our VODs. So honestly, I'd recommend just looking through some of those VODs, Kia, because it's hard to think back because it's been quite a long time. Here's the YouTube. You don't know, guys, every single stream ever since the first stream is up on YouTube, and that will be consistently happening. Every single stream will get put up on there, and it's great, especially if you've got questions like Kia just asked, where you're curious about how we've dealt with certain things in the RPG Maker engine in the past. And I can't remember exactly what number streams the battle mechanics have been when we've worked on those, but I try to always label the VODs. I always make sure they're well labelled and say what we've been working on each stream. So have a little look and see if there's any that are called creating enemies or battle system in the title, and then you'll have a little peek and you'll see what we did. But we will be going back to that sort of stuff. It's all coming up, so we tend to just focus on what's relevant at the moment for what we're doing. Speaking of items, Humble as a new bundle, Rose. Icon sets might be useful for skills, spells, items, etc. if you don't have any already. Awesome. Well, that's cool. For sure, icon sets, because I spent a few streams working on the UI as well, but that was mainly for the journal feature we have in our game, our quest journal. I was doing some icons and I actually made the icons myself for that, and that is the only part of the menu though really that I've done so far. The whole UI is gonna be, before the release of episode 1, it'll be different completely from what it is at the moment. So there'll probably be a time when I'm doing some UI streams and things, and it'll always just be when it's the right time, because right now, for example, I'm not going to do the UI because we're busy doing this, but there'll be a time when it'll be appropriate to work on the UI, and that'll be when we do it. Does Humble Bundle do RPG Maker stuff too? Yeah, it does, doesn't it, sometimes? But thanks for letting me know, Asriel. I'll have a little look into that. And thank you as well for the follow, Denton. I just noticed that. Thank you very much, guys. Right, so, folks. But yes, so just so you know what's ahead, we've been all focusing on dialogue recently, and next week it'll be the scenes. We'll be putting a scene together of this, and then probably the week after that it'll be the boss battle again. We'll be actually working on getting the boss battle working. So for people who like that sort of thing, then that'll be a fun time. So it's always definitely the bit because I'm terrible at the stuff that involves maths, but it's still fun. It's very, very awesome to see something you've put together working, that's for sure. So that's kind of the plan for what's coming up. It does sometimes, many of the art assets though would work in RPG Maker. Yay! Right, guys, so we are really coming towards the end with this now. I said yesterday that it's gonna be our last dialogue stream, and if things go well today, we might even start the scene today, but we'll say, because there's still quite a bit of stuff to do. We want to make sure the scene's perfect and that, everything sounds good. And this will get posted in the dialogue suggestion Discord channel as well. once it's done, just in case people have any ideas for what could sound better than what we've already got for certain boxes. But we can always do that on stream too. Also, shameless plug, you can use Rosie's link to Humble below to help support. Well, thank you, Azriel. I appreciate you letting peeps know about that. And I have to fix things because my merch isn't working, and I've been really bad with that as well. I've not updated that. The mug is the only thing now at the moment. So that needs to be sorted out. This is what I mean about my to-do list. So, oh, for sure. Having that Tuesday and Thursday, guys, it's going to go a long way. And I have confidence that each stream, the 3 streams of the week, starting from next week, they're going to be better quality than they have been because of that. Not that the streams have been not good. I still think what I've been doing is pretty cool and on stream. But I think if I could fault myself, it would be that things aren't progressing as fast as I want. But as I've always said, quality over quantity, you know. So even though we spent a while doing this stream, I think it was worth it. While doing this scene, not stream. I think it's worth it because we've got a better scene for it. And I've always said I'd rather have 5 great quality entertaining scenes than 12 average or boring ones. So, yes. But at the same time, I would, if you ask me, I would have liked to have finished this by now. And I probably would have liked to have moved on faster. But it's simply because I'm not getting enough hours in the day after having dinner and streaming to get work done off stream and work on the game. I only get that Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So it's just going to go a long way streaming every other day and having that day off in between to get some work done on those days. And I'm actually really excited. So, yay. Okay, so the one thing that was bothering me most of all yesterday was this bit coming up. I thought that it was weird. I didn't like how there was this forced question thing where you're asking what Apple's plan and what your plan is. And it also struck me as weird that Plum would just say off his back that he was planning something super evil. It just felt a little bit forced. So what I am planning to do is remove that and have it happen in the conversation naturally. And I had a few ideas for how to tackle that. So right, let's just delete this. We have planned the end of the scene. We've got battle begins right at this point. So we have really kind of done the whole framework for this scene now from beginning to end. But there's just these little tidying up bits in the middle that we need to do. I said since I'm still learning, yes, for sure. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with using assets. And I have to tell myself that too. And I think it's because so many people put value on art. Like in a game project, I always find that it's always, wow, this game has amazing art. Look at those graphics. It always seems to be the art that people look at. But really, a game is so much more than just the art. Like there's so many good things that make a game, in my opinion. Doesn't mean the art isn't good, of course that is important too, but so are many other things. Right, so what I was thinking of doing, and this was actually an idea by National Mars, he kind of said something that made me think this could work. So it was suggested by National Mars that that they kind of, I don't know the word to describe this, but say something like, oh, what if we just lend you some blood rather than a whole vampire's worth of blood? That was kind of what was suggested, and it would actually, I thought it could work if Carol said something like that. And the reason why Carol would over anybody else is because she's the one that wants Rose kept alive most of all, because she wants her to do that damn painting. So, and really she's the only one that can say other than the hero. So she would probably say something like, that's just like the first thing that came into my head, but I'd really like to carefully go over each of these dialogue boxes and make sure everything sounds very natural as possible. But first, I always just like to get the idea in first. I agree, the art and music are such a big part. I'm trying to do the art myself. It's just very time consuming but very satisfying. Sound is definitely another that's very underrated. Not just the music either, but the sound in general can add so much to the game. Pardon me. Okay, so yeah, they're talking about sacrificing Rose a little more here. And the truth is, yeah, why do we need the whole vampire? Why not just use some of her blood and they can do their plan then? Get what they want, get the ingredient, but not have to kill Rose. So that's kind of what Carol's trying to say now. The one thing I like about this is that I think it'll help like bring everything together, and these plans here that were originally just forced questions, Plum and Apple's plans, we can make it flow into an actual conversation from this, I believe. So for example, let's just move Plum's up here for now. We can start with Apple's, and he could literally just say something like, unfortunately not. He could say that actually isn't possible, we need to use all of Rosie's blood because he wants to paint a world, and worlds are big, you know. you have to paint something he wants to paint something quite ambitious there, so he definitely needs more than just some of the blood. That was one way I thought of handling this particular part. So they could, like, literally it's limitless on where we could take this, and that's why dialogue writing's so fun in making a scene, because you could literally do one of a zillion things, and you always think, oh, and this is the one that popped into my mind, Apple saying that, because that way it flows nicely into him explaining his plan as well as answering Carol's question. He starts to talk about his plan without having that forced question from the hero. And it's not like the forced question was bad, like that is something we've done before. But it didn't particularly work for this scene, I don't think, because it being forced questions rather than optional ones. And so unfortunately right, we'll have to edit this a bit so we can just explain things better. Blueberry could reveal more of the plan, tie into his naivety. All right, what do you imagine Blueberry saying? Because I'm going to admit here, Blueberry for me is the really tricky one to write, because he talks like a baby, and I actually think it's harder writing a character that talks like a baby compared to one that is an adult, because getting in the mind of a child when you're an adult, getting in their voice is quite a challenge actually. It's actually quite tricky, and it's like, because you have to like purposely try and, if you can easily make it sound too complicated, and Blueberry being so naive and young, you know, it's definitely a hard one to tackle, which is why it's been easy to just keep him as the one who's said silly pun things and being all cute. And for people like Plum and Apple, it's far easier to use those as the characters that do all the explaining, because they're the more intelligent ones. Thank you, Ron, for the follow. How are you doing? It's good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good week. Unfortunately not. I want to paid to world where all creatures of forest can flee to and protect from humans. I think this might be a little bit wordy, but we'll just get it in first. Can you just use some of her blood? Unfortunately not. The scale of... Unfortunately not. I want to paint a world where all creatures can flee to. The protected from humans is important, but if we're going to just mention that in the next dialogue box, we don't need it to be here as well. It's just extra, just repetitive otherwise. Going to look for a bit and get some morning studying done. I'll bet that awesome, Asriel. Good luck with the studying, and thank you for the luck as well. Any opportunity for him to swell up, get excited. I'm listening to you talk about Plum saying a hint to his plan. Blueberry would let the monster plan spill, and that could force Plum to tell more. That's true as well, but also that could also work for Tomato, him being the very emotional, full of rage, guy can't hold anything in sort of character, because he's just really wanting to just get on with it and kill, and just that it could work if he was the one to reveal the plan too. Blueberry is like the sweet one and reveals his evilness last minute. That's kind of what we've been doing. We've even got we've got Blueberry here just before the battle starts, stepping towards the hero and being like, I want your blood. And I've actually put that as we haven't filled that in yet, because I don't want to limit us to it just being blood. I want to consider everything Blueberry might want from us. Brains is another, but that might be too zombie-like. So I'm trying to think of human parts here that Blueberry might desire. So that's just letting you guys know how the scene actually ends with Blueberry, in case you didn't catch it yesterday. He's been all sweet up until this part, and then all of a sudden he's like, I want your blood, I want you know, something really horrible. Something like, oh, wow, oh my god, he's a real... Blueberry's actually a psychopath. like that sort of thing. Oh yeah, so, but yeah, it absolutely, if Blueberry revealed something, that could be fine too. It would work with either Blueberry or Tomato. It just, whoever it works best with, in all honesty. It depends what the dialogue would be. And hi Diver, how you doing? It's good to see you. How you been? What engine are you using? Let me give you our program command. It's RPG Maker MV that we use. It's a far easier engine than most engines around, and it really allows us to focus on the story rather than the code, which is perfect for our project. So feel free to have a little peep at that if you're curious about the engine. Good luck studying, yay. But I hope you're doing well, Diver. Thanks for stopping in today. Okay, so guys, of course, National or anybody else, if you want to expand more on the ideas or have anything that you think could be super cool, honestly, it's the last opportunity to really throw it at me, because today is going to be our last dialogue stream. I'm going to make sure we move on to the scene creation for next week. So, but yes, Plum's, that is the thing as well, rereading that about Plum telling his plan. We got to be careful how we handle it, because there's nothing worse than a villain who just says his plan, and you know, because in reality a villain is never going to just say their plan, are they, to us, to the enemy. And having a character, like a younger, more naive character, accidentally be the one to spill that plan seems more believable. And Plum's like quiet, like whether that's Tomato or Blueberry, rather than it be the intelligent Plum being the one saying what their evil plan is, because that wouldn't be very smart of Plum to do. he wouldn't be the smart wizard then if he said his plan to us, because we're going to just kill him. So yes, unless Apple was the one to be having a guilty conscience and was like showing sort of facial expressions that was like, yes, Plum and the others are up to no good, guys, and he's the one that slowly starts to reveal it. It could also work like that. I also kind of wanted to expand on this section too, where, because we've got Apple shows hesitation but realises he has no choice to fight. I want to have a bit more of an emotional gut point punch with Apple. I think we can really work on that more. So I think I've got a couple of ideas and I'll expand on that in a bit. But there's also this with Blueberry. I mean, Blood was great, but the only thing I was thinking, I would like to think of other words. Just because Blood, I'm worried it could be a bit repetitive because we've already mentioned blood so much in this scene. And we've already mentioned using Rosie's blood as the special ingredient. We've mentioned blood as what Rose uses to paint the painting at the start of the scene. So for the sake of not being repetitive, I wanted to open up the possibility of having another word that Blueberry wants from the humans. So so blood, brains, but brains was literally a random one for me, but it is a bit zombie-like, and insides is another. There's probably way more than this, for sure. I vote tomato, like you were saying, awesome. I think that could work perfectly national if Tomato gets a bit aggressive and excited and starts revealing stuff that he shouldn't be. His rage would be what makes him do it, and he's just absolute lust for blood. Blueberry is definitely more subtle. He's like that cute, adorable thing that you'd never expect to be a psychopath, but actually is. Oh yeah, okay, I use RPG Maker from PS1. They've improved so much, yes, and RPG Maker on PC is so much better as well because there's ability for plugins and all these online resources that you wouldn't get to use if you was doing it on console. But yeah, it's really cool. It's perfect for what we're doing here, which is like your typical retro JRPG style game, and it's been a lot of fun, Diver. We've been doing it for about a year now, actually. We're on the 124th stream today. So still very early days though, but we've come a long way. Tomato plus blueberry combo. We need her chlorophyll, nectar, pollen, seeds and juice. That's all just blood in a vampire. Then we need her blood. Oh right. Yeah, those are like very good more floral themed words, and that's always very important point as well, because these aren't humans, and if we said words like brains, that is very human stuff, and someone like Blueberry wouldn't really know what a human brain was. He's just a little fruit. So if he's going to say he wants something, it would probably be some sort of fruit themed like thing, but like also is, you could easily think is a human, something that, you know, if you know what I mean. So let's think what would sound good there. Yeah, it's my birthday, and for my gift, I want your juice. Juice is cool too, because that is basically blood, but turned into a more fruit-themed word for blood. We've used juice a few times. We've got Tomato saying, I'm going to make a smoothie out of you. He also said, we're going to juice you from the inside out here. Make these jerks into puree. So we have kind of gone with the whole juice word, the juice word quite a bit, but it's worth adding to the list anyway. Juice is a nice innocent word. as well. But it's actually pretty gross when you think of it. You could just say nectar's another one. Yeah, why is our font changing? Nectar, I want. Chlorophyll might be a little bit too advanced for a little baby to say. Pollen, I want your pollen. What would a pollen be on a human now if it was going to be something? Seeds, I want your seeds. That could work. So yeah, I'll keep that there, just in case you guys have any more ideas. And we can always put a poll up for something like this, and whatever gets the most votes can be the one we go with, the word. So the more ideas we have, the better, really. So yes, he could suggest peeling them. Yeah, it's my birthday, and for my gift I want to peel your it wouldn't be skin, because to them he wouldn't be familiar with skin as a fruit. But what would be the skin version of a fruit? Why have I got such mind blank? That is an easy question, I'm sure. But could suggest peeling the rind from. See, that word would be perfect if it wasn't blueberry, but it seems like blueberry's too much of a baby to know that word. I don't even know it myself. I'm ashamed to admit. So you peel a fruit's fresh. Yeah. Yeah, and for my gift I want to peel your flesh. Maybe that could work. I think as long as it sounds like very childlike and the words used are still a childlike enough, then we good. So to peel your flesh. So we'll get those ones in as well. We don't have to just one-worded ones. We can change the whole sentence entirely to something like that if it worked well. David, thank you for the host. How are you doing? I wouldn't use seeds. Does that have bad connotation in Trigger? I haven't realised if there is. Blueberries have that skin. Pick you, bruise you, and skin you alive. Yeah. And I want... And I want, yeah. See, that would be, I could imagine, when it gets super gory, I imagine it being Tomato then. Because he's the one who gets, you know, pretty twisted with his comments. And, of course, Blueberry is going to as well with his line here. But in a sort of weirdly creepy, innocent way is probably the best way I can put it. Like, what it says sounds childlike and innocent, but it's actually horrific. If we can get that sentence for Blueberry, then I think we've got it perfect. So let's just say yes and leave it at that. Leave it at what? We want to make the sentence amazing. You could be like, I'll bruise you up. I'll drop you and bruise you up. Yeah. Yeah, for Tomato, yeah. I mean, for sure. But we don't want Blueberry to be Tomato 0.2, you know. We gotta be careful because he keeps that innocence. Okay, so let's go back to, because there's a few little sections we got to work on. This one, we got this, and there was a bit with Apple I wanted to add too, but okay, so can't you just use some of her blood and bullshit? Not I want to pay a world or okay, so right, we don't want to reveal all this dialogue too quickly, like we don't want to just roll it all off, so we'll do it a bit at a time. You could say something like, he can talk about that he wants to paint the world first, and that the world is actually, it's going to be big. He needs a lot of paint for that, so he needs a lot of Rose's blood. And then afterwards he can expand on why he wants to paint the world. And he doesn't necessarily have to reveal what it is he's painting yet. We can just say, he can just say he wants to paint something big and needs a lot of the ingredient, a lot of the blood for that. And then we're like, as the player, thinking, oh, what's this? Something big. and then we find out in a bit, in a couple of another dialogue box after, rather than get it all thrown us in one go, if you know what I mean. If it was like, we want to paint a world where all the free creatures flee to, it's too much info at once. So perhaps, yes, we'll just slowly reveal it maybe. So unfortunately not the scope of what I want to paint. Now, I'm trying to think of how to word this one. We'll get there though. The free paths could each have a different disgusting blueberry final line. Yes, also, just in case you didn't know, we did move those free paths to meet as a linear path, so we don't have that problem of needing to think of a different final line for each of them. We got them here, the free paths still, but they kind of all meet now at this point. And it just kind of makes our job a little bit easier then. It's not as overwhelming, because I knew we had to do that at some point. But I do kind of want to work on them more. It wouldn't hurt if we flesh these paths out a bit, not at all. If we wanted to have a bit more character development here, that's totally good. But it kind of goes on to another subject at this point when it goes linear, like it's about the plan at this point. And I don't necessarily think it was necessary to have loads of different branches for this particular bit. It could be too much work, but it's pretty cool here because we're learning different things about the characters here. Where it does split into free paths, like the bravery branch, we find out a lot about Tomato that we wouldn't have learnt in these particular paths here. But and I really like how the bravery branch does that, but I do kind of want to go a bit further, especially maybe with the top one, the compassion one, because there's definitely less there. Okay, so the scope. I'm going to get Theosaurus up and see if there's a better word than that. The size of my masterpiece is the magnitude of my masterpiece. Yeah, we'll just be simple with it so far, and if we want to use better words, then we'll just do that at the end. But of course, guys, if anybody has any cool suggestions, if you think actually that sentence could work better with this word instead, totally say, guys. Don't be afraid to say. Okay. We'll need every last drop. Hi Rob, how you doing? We'll need every last drop. Oh, for what Apple's saying? Unfortunately not. Yeah, so that would probably be a good thing to end the sentence with, something like that. The size of my masterpiece is huge. I think I'd prefer to use better words than just huge. I find that a bit of a boring word. But we'll just stick it there for now. Something like, I will need every last drop of her. Poor Rose. I will need every last drop of her. But Apple doesn't like it. He feels guilt, you know. He doesn't want to do it. I think this could be cut down a bit. I would rather not sacrifice anybody, and that includes that vampire over there. Now, vampires speak for special blood. She is the final ingredient we need to bring both our masterpieces to life. Yours and ours. We don't need both twice, do we? You know it won't work without her sacrifice. Can't you just use some of her blood? Unfortunately not. The size of my masterpiece is huge. I will need every last drop of her. So something like that does work. I think we could use some better words than size and huge potentially, but it gets to the point of what Apple gets to the point of what he needs to say. And he can further start expanding on what it is now. He can start saying that it's a world, and he wants all creatures of the forest to live there so they can be protected from humans, and therefore humans can also be protected from them too. It's literally best for everybody that way, and it's a really nice little plan. It's like good intentions, you know. It's not evil, but Plum's plan, I mean, look at that. He wants to actually conquer. And I think once we find out that, once Tomato slips it out and we realise that that's what they're planning, to bring to life monsters, and they want to conquer the ever-blooming forest, we'll realise at that point that it wasn't just about sacrificing Rose. They actually want to kill us all. And we'll be like, at that point, we're going to be like, we need to fight you, and we're going to have all this, the build up to the fight. And I kind of want to just expand on that build up a touch, mainly with Apple. But another important thing is to get this all revealed about the plan, and that's really our last job. Other than that, because we've done everything else. I mean, we can always expand on this for sure. But the scene is we're getting there. We're getting there. If you really want to help, you'll give her up and walk away. If you really want to help, you'll give her up and walk away. Who would say that, National? Just let me know so I've got a context to it. Around the apple, we could have some Granny Smith puns. Oh, maybe. Richard, thank you for the sub. 7 months straight. Thank you so much. How you doing, Richard? Let's have some hype in chat for Richard. Maybe you're done with Apple. I've missed a couple of streams. Oh, no, we're not done at all with Apple, Kung. I really want to stretch him further because he, to me, is the best character. Apart from Carol the Barrel and Rose, of course. But out of all the fruits, to me, Apple's the most interesting character. And I really want to try and... I want to end it with an emotional gut punch with Apple. But without being over the top or melodramatic, of course. But something... Because at the moment we're ending it with Lemon pushing Blueberry to the back row. Because obviously Lemon's protective of Blueberry, and Blueberry at the moment is right by the hero on the front line. And Lemon's not going to be having that, so he pushes him to the back row and protects him. And it's super cool like that, because Lemon in the battle actually has a skill where he protects Blueberry, so it really fits well with the character. But for sure, like, if anybody's gonna say a pun, it's gonna be Blueberry. We kind of have gone with the theme of Blueberry being the pun guy. He like says the front line, and he might like jump a little bit when he says it in the scenes. Maybe he gets a bit excited. He's also said, we're really grateful. He got a bad peeling, a very sour taste. Oh, we got another room for a pun here too, but it has to be relevant to that. If we can, but we don't have to we can just have like a facial expression from Blueberry, or just dot ellipses if we can't think of anything, but we'll see. And other than that, we did try to limit the puns just so it doesn't become too much of a joke, especially with the more serious characters like Lemon and Plum and Tomato and Apple. Well, they're all quite serious characters apart from Blueberry. But yes, all sounds good. Yay. Okay, how are you doing, Richard, though? I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for that that support. Let's give you some hype in chat. So we've got lots of little different bits to work on. We've got this bit here where we're tying up all the plans and the reveal of their plan. If we can get that working today, that'll be the best. And I want to just add a little bit of apple here, so I'm probably going to go back and forth between the two, which is pretty unorganized, but sometimes that's what happens when your creative juices are going crazy. I was thinking apple, the real plan is much redder and more delicious than what we can paint with the mega drops you would give us. Awesome, National. I super appreciate your feedback. I'm going to do, because I don't want chat to scroll up too high and lose everything you've said. So I'm going to copy it in my notepad file and we'll read that in a sec. Blueberry could have a line like, I want to paint with the pretty lady. She would make such a nice canvas. Oh, yeah. I think if someone's going to say that, it would probably be Blueberry, because he's sweet. The pretty lady, that's Carol the Barrel, though, isn't it? Who else would it be? Been a little while since I've been here. My apologies. No apologies at all, Richard. It's good to see you again. How are you doing? I hope you've been well. I super appreciate the support, Richard. Let's copy what Dave has said as well, because even if you guys are giving some good lines, but I'm not finding a space for them right now, there could be room in this little bit where we've got the splitting of the paths, because as I've said, I totally would be up for expanding on this just a bit in parts. So we can make the most of the character development in the individual branches to reward the player for picking a certain option and reveal little things that they wouldn't know if they picked another branch. So I kind of like that. That sort of thing. I would play again. I would feel encouraged to do multiple playthroughs just to see what they would have said if I picked the other option. So for that reason, I totally would be up for adding a bit more dialogue in these parts, just a bit more. If it added to the characters, obviously, I'm very anti-fluff in dialogue, guys, but I'm all for adding extra if it's gonna add to the character development and stuff. But I kind of see this part as adding to the character development, and the bit where it goes linear is where it starts advancing the plot further, because at this point we're finding out about the actual motivations of the fruits. The plot's advancing here, and then it finally leads to the conflict, and you're like, right, we have to kill you now because you're a psychopath. So that's what leads to the battle in the end. And I kind of like how it's quite a lengthy conversation. In a lot of RPGs, you get the boss encounter and you see him and you're like, okay, we're killing you because you're an evil monster, and there's not really always a reason for why we're killing these monsters other than them being a monster. So I do like that we've really kind of give them their own little story. It's fun. I meant Rose, but Carol could certainly take it that way. Yeah, that's for sure. And anything that kind of expands on the Carol and Rose relationship is good as well, because they really are the main characters, mainly Carol. And if we've got our little, where is it again? Where's it hiding? Here we go. All this here, this little grid that I made, which is literally everything. This is why the scene is here in the first place, because of Carol and Rose and stuff. So anything that expands on that relationship is always going to be helpful, because the fruits are important, but they're really just really minor sub characters. It's Carol and Rose that matter, and this scene should really further advance their development and their relationship. Okay, so I'm also going to give you guys the dialogue command in case you do want to have a closer look at things. Because I know that's probably hard to do when I'm constantly moving across the screen onto different things. So if any of you did want to have a closer look, then feel free to. Okay, so I have copied Dava and National's dialogue ideas, so I'm going to reread them in a sec. And see if there's a place to slot. We'll work on Nationals first, because I think this is more for what we're working on currently. Oh, a paint made of vampire painted on a canvas of living wood. That could mean just giving Rose is no longer an option. Paint made of vampire painted on a canvas of living wood. That could mean giving Rose is no longer an option. How do you mean? I'm very curious here. My brain isn't absorbing this information fully because it's been silly. Sometimes that happens. Usually in these creative streams when there's a bazillion ideas going like this, sometimes it takes a while for one to register in my mind. So forgive me guys if I'm always not latching onto your ideas straight away. Hello Rose. Hi Gretch, how are you doing? It's good to see you. Hope you're having a good day. How are things? And guys, if you didn't see earlier, this came for me today. So look who's going to be busy this weekend. Okay, so the real plan is much redder and more delicious than what we can paint with the meagre drops she would give us. Okay, so that dialogue line is great. And I like how it's worded as well. National, you're a better writer than me. But I'm thinking plum actually would suit that, because apple is more, it sounds a little bit aggressive perhaps. Maybe just to me it does. But things like the meagre drops you would give us is like sort of an insult to us, saying, oh, your drops are nothing sort of thing. And talking about the plan being delicious, and that sounds very villainous as well. I can imagine Plumby talking like that, that's for sure, about his actual plan. Oh boy, yay. Hi Lord, how you doing? It's good to see you. Like they could want more than just Rose after they get a good look at Carol, thinking if Rose is special, so is Carol. Oh right, so yeah, because Carol doesn't have blood, so they couldn't get any paint out of Carol, because she just would. But she definitely is valuable though, for other reasons. I mean, if you caught this bit a bit earlier, Lemon threatens to turn Carol into an easel because she insults Tomato. Because Tomato tells her to back away from their property, and he says a horrible word. He calls her creaky and an old lady because he's a horrible, naughty, cheeky teenager. And Carol obviously is offended because Carol is a Sundayer and she is a super defensive person who will rip anyone apart who dares to insult her. And obviously Lemon, protective daddy, is like, yeah, I'm turning you to an easel. So we've had some threats of stuff like that, and if we wanted to bring that in again, be like, yeah, we need you. You'd make a really good easel for our paintings, Carol, or hinted at or something like that. That could just make Carol, of course, want to make sure these guys are dead even more, because it's not just Rose's life on the line, it's Carol's herself now as well. And Carol's selfish. We know that Carol's selfish. The only reason she cares about not sacrificing Rose at this point is because she needs Rose herself to do a painting for her, so she can find out where her family are. She only gives a damn about Rose because of that reason at this point in time. Okay, so let me just copy and paste anything interesting I've seen in chat. Simply because, like I say, sometimes my brain doesn't always register immediately during creative brainstorming sessions, and I always just like to have it there to look back at, especially off stream, so I can really take in the idea if I've totally missed anything important that's going to be super cool. Right, so because what I am going to be doing, I want to get as much possible done with this dialogue today. I would ideally love to finish it, but more likely what's going to happen is I'm going to be working on it over the weekend when I'm not playing Final Fantasy VII, of course, and get it to a state where it's basically almost done and we can start the scene on Monday, while we're like, maybe I might post it in the dialogue discussion channel here. I always post the dialogue here when it's done so you guys can see. I'll post it in there when I finished it over the weekend, and then we can, while we're still waiting for responses and feedback, we can start putting the scene together. It wouldn't hurt if we just have to change a couple of words while we're making the scene, as long as we've got that framework and stuff. That's the main thing. Okay, so right, we're going to go back to this bit obviously because it's important, but one thing I do want to do, I'm moving on to something else here, but this is also important as well. I was thinking, well, we'll move the battle begins a little bit more across because I don't want the last part to be where Lemon pushes Blueberry to the background. I mean, that's totally fine. The battle could totally start at that point, but I think we can push it further and have more of an emotional gut punch to our stomachs involving Apple, because we haven't really made the most of the opportunity to... With Apple's conflict, we know Apple's conflicted. He doesn't really want to fight us. The fact is he will be, and I think we need to kind of make the most of the fact that that's going to be happening. So what I was thinking, and this is just an idea, we could alter it slightly if we think something could work better, but something like this is what I was thinking. Make a bit of more space. I was thinking of putting a hero choice here. I mean a hero choice thing. Let me just and it's all going to end in the same thing because there's nothing we can do. Apple has to fight. He's part of it. But it could just give us, it could just help with the emotion, add the emotion, and also it'll give us some moral points as well. So something like, I don't know if it would add compassion. We'll put question mark for now because I don't know what each one will add, but so this is where the hero, you're going to get a choice to say something to Apple. So text here, just so no one gets confused and thinks of that text that's in is actually what it is going to say. Yeah, I'm excited to see it come together. Yeah, I'm really excited to make the scene. I've been excited for days to just do the scene because that's where you see it all brought to life and that's where it gets exciting. But, you know, I can't get carried away and make the scene before we've even put the whole thing together. That would be silly. So, okay, so I've got an idea for what you could say, but this is first draft ideas for me. My first draft is not always the best, but it's all, and one idea is always better than nothing. Okay. Right, so I don't know for sure if this is the actual dialogue we should make the hero say. We might have to adjust it based on, you know, bravery points, whatever fits more with that. But something that basically shows that we are on Apple's side and we want better for him and a better future. And the second option is more screw you, Apple. Sort of like the asshole response, if you get what I mean. But even if you pick that one, it's still going to lead to Apple saying the same thing either time. I mean, we can always have him say a little bit different if it works better, but it could work that he just says the same thing, we'll say, because he could literally just say something like, sorry humans, I have to stick with my family. Something emotional, but obviously I don't want to make it seem too try hard, because I don't like that when stories try and, like, you think, oh, they're trying to make me cry, but I don't care, I'm not attached enough to cry, sort of thing. But I honestly want it to be a genuine, like, oh crap, that is actually quite sad. I wanted to put some sort of a metaphor or, you know, something descriptive to say, like, without them is nothing but like a pointless piece of fruit, but something more descriptive than that, because that's the truth. What would he do without them? He'd just be eaten up by humans eventually. He'd just be an apple on his own. What is the game going to be coding? Hi Gloomy, how you doing? I have a program command here for you. So feel free to have a look at that. And if you've got any more questions, feel free to ask. It's JavaScript, by the way, the code of that. Yeah, I'm trying to stop myself from rushing. I'm actually doing my dialogue in the same format you are now. Instead of straight through the program, it feels way easier to come up with a more fluid conversation. That's, yay! Was it me that inspired that, Twisted? If so, that's awesome. Thank you. Yay! Okay. So I thought just simply adding something that ended with Apple and then the battle beginning after that from Apple was just a bit more of a emotional punch in the stomach. Because we hadn't really made the most of that opportunity, I feel. I mean, Apple, all he said was, you go on the front line to Lemon. And before that, he was like basically on our side almost. And all of a sudden, he's siding with these guys. But by just having that, it like just gives a reason for why he's decided to stick with them. It just, you know, if we get more understanding on Apple. So this would give minus compassion, I think. I don't think it's really going to affect wisdom and bravery. It's more of a compassion thing, this sort of dialogue is. But oh, sorry, that's not the right one. That has to be turned red. And yeah, based on like what's written here, he could definitely say that for both, you know. Also, this is super messy at the moment, how this is laid out. I'll neaten it up later when we've done it. So I'm trying to just think of the best, like the best way to put it, the most symbolic way to describe himself, what he is without his fellow fruits, because right now it's not coming to me. I know I want a description of what he sees himself as, but we'll think of something, I'm sure. And yes, if anyone's got any more blueberry suggestions, feel free to say, because I might put a poll up before the end of stream to vote on what we want Blueberry to want for his present. And that's kind of the list of what we've got so far. Lemon could be like, plant yourself here, referring to Blueberry in the back row. Let's remind ourselves that line where he says get back. Instead of saying get back, you think he should say plant yourself here. That could work too, because, you know, get back's that was the first thing that came to my mind, and we can definitely stretch it further than that. And something like that is fruit themed, so. What do you reckon, folks? Is that better? Richard, thank you for the 5 biddies. I appreciate that. They're doggo bitters, I say. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for biddies. Yeah, so that's basically the same as get back, what was there before, but just a little bit more descriptive and fruit themed in the dialogue. And Lemon's voice is very stoic. He's a stoic character. He doesn't use exclamation marks or ellipses. He's very, like, to the point with what he tends to say. So that sort of works for him. Like, if you've looked at his previous dialogue, he just says as it is sort of person. We don't even have to have the let's not talk about that. In fact, Lemon would probably just say let's not talk about that. We want to make sure we keep the dialogue consistent with their voice. If anyone's going to be like saying that would probably be Plum, maybe. I see him as the more hesitant one. Maybe. I was trying to think of a cute term for Lemon to Blueberry and I couldn't think of one. What are the lines for Blueberry that we need? Oh, for this. So I'm going to actually get a red box because I prefer putting the information in the red box. Then the dialogue one. So let's delete that. But yes, guys, I'm very tempted to put up a poll for this because we've got quite a few choices here. And we want to make sure we go with the most entertaining and appropriate one for Blueberry. It's such a important line, you know. I wouldn't be inclined to put up polls for dialogue lines because you could go on forever. And there's going to be so many dialogue lines, but for the ones that are going to have great impact and we want to be as memorable as possible, I would totally put up a poll for something like that. So especially like when we want to make sure we get the best possible, most memorable thing. Okay, so and for my gift I want to get rid of the your, because some of the ones, especially the last one, are worded a bit differently. So we got PL in front, so I want We'll get rid of the brains, honestly. It's too zombie-like, so we won't even have that there. We'll keep it like that. So, I want your blood. No. Yeah, it's my birthday, and for my gift I want your blood. Yeah, it's my birthday, and for my gift I want your insides. Yeah, it's my birthday, and for my gift I want your juice. Yeah, it's my birthday, and for my gift I want your nectar. Yeah, it's my birthday, and for my gift I want your seed. Yeah, it's my birthday, and for my gift I want to peel your flesh. Okay, so they all sound okay there. None of them sound odd. But you know, if we get more, guys, they'll be added to the pile, so it won't hurt if we have any even more options here. Because I think we have room for at least 10 poll, you know, outcomes. We have room for at least 10. You know, so we got option for more for sure. Nectar, Rob likes. Yeah, you'll all get your chance to vote once the poll's up, so make sure you don't forget. Okay, so we'll go back to that shortly. I mean, we might want to get the poll up soon because we don't want to leave it too late, but I just want to give you guys the opportunity to at least, you know, suggest, because there might be some really awesome ones we haven't thought of. But there's some good ones there. I mean, we got insides. What's the... I really need to get with it with fruit descriptions. I do, because there's probably so many that we could have. Also, I've got some notes here in my notes on my phone, so let me just remind myself of that. Pulp is another fruit description, so, and for my gift I want your pulp. Yeah, that could work too. I want it to like make sure it's super like whoa sort of thing. I know that's kind of like the goal, but it's a challenge because we don't want the word to be over like complex. It has to make sense for a 2-year-old to say. A toddler or an infant, so it can't be too like advanced a word. And nectar, although I like it, would a 2-year-old say? I do like the nectar one, don't get me wrong, but I am hesitant for adding too many more like adult words that an infant probably wouldn't know. That's the thing, guys. Well, babies eat nectar, I think, yeah. So I'm just going to put in brackets. And blueberry is only an infant, so words should be simple. Okay, honestly guys, like, we could always put this poll up on Monday. I know that we'll be actually starting the scene on Monday and we won't actually be editing the dialogue on stream like we have been, but it, like I say, it doesn't hurt if we have to just edit a couple of things. Or even a few things that we want to improve on. The main thing is we get the framework done. Like you said, Twisted Mouse, it's so much easier when you don't work straight into the editor in RPG Maker and when you actually got a framework. It doesn't mean you have to be 100% done, because obviously you're going to make some adjustments maybe, but at least having that framework there goes a long way in making it a lot easier to put the scene together. So because we're struggling for a pun in this particular section from this, it's quite a challenge to think of how Blueberry could respond to his mother being in a pie, baked into a pie. I put jumps happily simply because I could imagine that Blueberry doesn't give a damn that his mother's in a pie, because he's not sad about it because he's a little psychopath and doesn't care. And that would be the first hint that Blueberry has no empathy, and he is literally jumping happily at the thought of his mother being baked into a pie. It subtly does it, you know, it doesn't like throw it at you too strongly that Blueberry's got no empathy and is a psychopath, but it's there. It's been slyly put in. So that is probably, you know, a route we could go if we can't think of dialogue. Because he's had a lot of puns in other parts. You know, it makes me wonder about Tomato as well, being upset about his brother being turned into juice. Maybe his brother was the only one that stood up for him against the bullies that called him a vegetable. You know, I'm thinking that could be the case. It wouldn't even hurt if Apple expanded on that, saying his brother was the only one that stuck up for him, and now he's dead. Okay. Right, so back to this part. Look at that adorable kitty Emotria. Or try. I'll get there, I promise. I'll get there. Squeeze her until she's drained and dried, then wrap up what's left with her hair and tie it into a bow to make it my birthday present. Yeah, okay. Right, so I imagine Tomato saying that. I don't know why I'm always, whenever things get quite descriptive, that's when I suddenly imagine it being Tomato. But we could, you know, we can have Tomato say that, like, totally. I love the description, and I love showing Tomato's violence as much as we can. And we've got going to make a smoothie out of you, which I did like that one, but, you know, we could change it to something like that. Blueberry, I just see as the one of a few words, you know. He jumps around, is happy. He's one of a few words. But Tomato for sure. I'm being very strict, guys, about the character voices here. You know, I want to make sure that we don't make any of them go too far into being similar to any of the other fruits. Okay, so we could just get rid of the to make my birthday present, and you could just full on say that description. I like it a lot. I do like it. It's perfect for Tomato. And though I love the smoothie one, this just goes that extra bit further. Squeeze her until she's drained and dried. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to, like, go further, like him say, I want your insides or your juice or something to that degree, and, like, say something really gross, like that would taste really yummy, or, you know, something like that. Something that's very childlike but gross for Blueberry. We've got the pulp on here as well, which was interesting because it was suggested that pulp would be a word. And we never used that one, and I did really like that description too. Okay, so we even, hang on a minute. I've got to think, because I've just realised something. This isn't just talking about Rose. This is talking about all of us. He's actually saying it to the hero. So, although I like that description, it's actually better for Rose rather than us as the group. So I really do like it, and I want to use it somewhere where we talk about sacrificing Rose. So where is our... I've copied and pasted it. There we go. So I'm going to just drag it with our other dialogues that we haven't used yet. This one we could use. Something like use their pulp and toss the rest. Or whatever the word is. Oops. So I put blank because it's whatever the word's going to be that Blueberry says. And that way Tomato's talking about us as a group rather than Rose alone. It doesn't go off track too much. But I love the tie in the bow thing. I do love that description, and if we can fit that in somewhere for when he's actually talking about Rose, then that'll be great. Okay, so where are we now? Okay, so unfortunately not. The size of my masterpiece is huge. I will need every last drop of her. That's where we were, so. Right. So there was the line, if you really want to help, you'll give her up and walk away. So I could imagine Lemon saying something like that, if there's a place for it. Can't you just use some of her blood? Unfortunately not, the size of my masterpiece is huge. I will need every last drop of her. And now we've got the plum dialogue, and this is ultimately what we need to reveal soon, but it's not going to be like that. Obviously we're going to do it in a more sneaky way, and an idea that was said that Tomato could be the one that accidentally spills the beans and reveals it. So we could use bring in the description here where that was mentioned by National there at this bit, because it is relevant. I need every last drop. I would like Apple to talk more about his masterpiece though. So I've got a few things in mind. We'll just get them down, random thoughts. So Plum could actually be the one that he could kind of mock Apple's idea. Maybe he could like be like, he wants to paint a world where all creatures of the forest can flee to and be protected from humans. And but he can like say it in a really mocking way. And then Apple could be like, it's best. It's best for all of us. And then Tomato would just be like getting impatient and being like, just, you know, like a bit like that descriptions that said. And then in that he can like spill the beans a bit about the ferocious monsters, and then it will all come out from that point. Could Blueberry get all entranced hearing Apple talk and ask or demand for more of the masterpiece story? Yeah, Blueberry could as well. Because it would be good to bring the characters in that haven't spoken for a while. Because we've had quite a bit of Apple Plum, you know, Apple Plum. So, you know, I'm totally all for like doing it a different way rather than Plum be the... Because that was my thought, have Plum kind of mock his idea. But we could have it so... Lemon could sort of mock the idea. And Blueberry could follow saying something after Lemon. Because Blueberry always says something after Lemon. That's the thing. Blueberry doesn't really ever talk unless Lemon said something. He does there because he's kind of getting a bit... But that's the only time he ever does. And I think up until that point, it'll probably be good if we consistently make him only talk when Lemon does. Yeah, this scene is like the exception, this part. Where's the box gone? There we go. Okay, so delete that. Definitely wouldn't hurt to bring in some more fruits because it has been very much just Apple and Plum for a while. And it could be like, I think like Blueberry wanting to know more and getting all excited about the story would work great with the evil plan, you know, with helping reveal that. Because I don't think it's a real big secret, Apple's plan, because that's the one with good intentions, and he totally doesn't mind like revealing what that is, because there's nothing to be ashamed of with that plan. It's not this evil, dark, twisted thing like Plum's plan. But yeah, Tomato and Blueberry together maybe as well could be the reason why that all comes out. It's definitely a better approach than Plum just saying it off his own back anyway. So we could have Lemon say it, but I always know that Blueberry has to come and say something if Lemon's going to talk, so it just makes it a bit more challenging. And of course we don't have to do that, we don't have to have Blueberry say something after Lemon, but I just really like that little touch of their little relationship and dynamic. I kind of want to stick to it. Like, he wants to pay a word. He's going to have to say that in a really mocking way. So I'm going to have a think about how to word that so it comes across as mocking. Right, so where's my red box for notes? For you, Cami, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Idea more, because yeah, it's not really enough at the moment, but we've got it there. Danny, thank you for the follow. How you doing? Welcome to stream, guys. Okay, so Blueberry. Yeah, Blueberry, what are you going to do here, though? I want you to speak. I think it's about time you say something. But damn, I'm bad at puns. And that's kind of what Blueberry always does. But we should really shift this stuff along because we're going to run out of space. There's so many, like, you know, at this point there's little gaps that there's room to put in so much. And yeah, the scene is like virtually done and ready, but there's just a lot of opportunity to add more in these places. And I always just like to think about that because of course we want to make sure it's the best. Dialogue. Hi AT, how you doing today? Welcome. It is indeed dialogue. If Lemon reveals that Apple and Plum have differing views, it will tie into the hero saying, "We thought you could be better," or however to Apple. Okay, let's read that again. If Lemon reveals that Apple and the Plum have different views, it will tie into the hero saying, "We thought you could be better," or whoever to Apple. Yeah, that's true as well because as we got here, are you promised to keep them in line? I'm disappointed in you, Apple. So the fact is, though, I'm actually glad you pointed that out because so far I believe there's only one place Apple said that. I promised to keep them in line, and that was only under the brave path. So if you actually picked the compassion and wisdom path, you wouldn't have heard Apple say that. So I will have to alter that dialogue if we don't further expand on that in the linear part, you know. Otherwise, you know, people will be like, hang on, did Apple say that? Because he wouldn't have if they picked the other two. But one thing Apple has always said is that he's wanted to avoid making enemies. He said that in all 3 branches. So that is one thing. We could always reword it if we wanted to you something like you said you wanted to avoid making enemies or something to that degree. I'm disappointed in you, Apple. But yes, we have got, so far it's kind of saying yeah, so we know that there's 2 different masterpieces here. Yours and ours. Apple and Plum have a different masterpiece, so that's one thing we know. But we don't know, you know, what they are, and that one is actually got good intentions and the other's super evil. So yes, we need to potentially expand on that and make sure that we make aware that Apple's masterpiece at this point is a very noble cause. Like, it's for a very noble. Maybe that can be like with the lemon mocking bit. He can be like so noble and so naive, sort of thing. And to like just make clear, yeah, he's he wants to pay a world worth price of each can flee to my plants are like totally falling out today, and protect them from humans. So I need to get, I'm awful at dialogue that involves mocking people because I'm just such a sweetheart, guys. So it's getting in the voices of people like this. So I'm gonna do a bit of research here. Yes, well, my tummy's doing a rumble. Thank you, Frisco, for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Welcome, folks that are new here. Welcome to our little 2D RPG, geeky, awesome, fun adventures. So there's something we can. He went and protect them from. He wants to paint a world where creatures the fires can flee to and protect them from humans. So right, I'm thinking, because I have an idea of where I'm trying to go here. I want him to like mock Apple for being noble, and like he's like thinking, you know, open your eyes, like surely by now you should know that this plan isn't going to work. And that Lemon saying that is going to open up us slowly this other plan, this other masterpiece, and what that is being revealed. You know, it's going to slowly reveal this, and it's kind of Lemon that has started that here. Because the challenge here is revealing the evil masterpiece, the reason we're going to fight them in the first place. That is the challenge here. It's a tough one, because it's so easy to take the easy, lazy way out and literally just make one of the villains say out loud and just what the plan is, and that's just so unrealistic, because no villain is going to reveal their plan to their enemy so easily. So we try to do it in a way where they're sort of getting into an argument, and Lemon's like mocking Apple's nobleness and being like, you know, this is just, you know, open your eyes, stop being naive, and from that everything's going to just get revealed, sort of thing. And Dharma, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? And I think, as National Mars said earlier, that is throwing it out there as well, how much their views differ. It's further showing that apple's different to the other fruits. So if we doing a sort of argument here, having a sort of argument where the fruits are like, our masterpiece is better than yours, could be the way we get it all comes out and gets revealed to us, and eventually it turns into the fight, and us preparing for battle. So that is kind of what I've got in mind and what I'm imagining now. So it's just putting it together, and we've got the possibility to add some little extra dialogue boxes in between, like Dave's idea about Blueberry saying something like Carol would make a pretty canvas, or something like that, or something as well to bring Carol into it and show that maybe they want to turn her into a canvas or an easel, you know. She's made out of wood, and there's an opportunity to definitely add more as well, little extra stuff. So, but let's work on this framework, you know. Let's get this argument all spelled out. Let's connect these together, and I think that'll be, you know, that'll be super good when we've done that, and it'll all just be tidying up from that point onwards, and tidying up any dialogue that sounds weird and adding anything extra that we think could make a nice finish off well. Okay, so oops. And we could always improve this "that's insane" dialogue from Carol as well. People, they're not people, so I have to change that. Or we could just have, what are you guys? I don't know about what are you. I think that needs a little expanding on a bit. I just like holy buckets, just because, you know, a bucket's a container like a barrel, so I think it's a good swear word for Carol. It's a good curse word for her. Okay, but that's going to all come in with after, once the plan's been revealed, because it links up to them. Hero drawing his weapon, and Apple realising he's got no choice but to fight, and that's going to be up here, but we need to make some space, so we'll just pop it here for now. Right, so painted world where creatures the forest can lead to be protected from humans. So I prefer it, another fruit being the one to reveal Apple's plan rather than Apple being the one to say himself. Just because it's more entertaining to hear it from the point of view of another character who's perhaps like mocking it. And I just think that's a better approach, to have that revealed for another character. And Lemon seemed like a good one. Because it could have been Plum, could have worked with Plum, but we've already had in a lot of dialogue from Plum, so it's cool to bring Lemon back into the conversation. But Blueberry really has to say something now, because he always does after Lemon spoke. I'm trying to spot if there's any puns here. Noble is a word. I can't think of anything that rhymes with noble. We need a pun here. Because, like, you know, guys, I'm not the pun person here. I'm not good at puns, so I'm going to have to leave that one for now. So next, we are going to have Tomato. Tomato is going to be the one who spills it all, because he's a child and he's reckless. And we've already had Plum already warn him before. He nearly spilt it earlier on in our scene. He basically says, who cares what the old lady wants? We need her for our... And then Plum was like, be careful, child. Do not reveal our plans to strangers. So he didn't listen, did he? He's going to do it again. And it's consistent with his character to be the one to do that. From here, we can see he's already done it before. Hess, thank you for the follow. Welcome to stream. Welcome all new people. I'm gonna, obviously, because a lot of you guys have just come in, I want to make sure that you know what we do here, and feel free to look at those links, and if you've got any questions at all, feel free to ask as well. I will be happy to answer. Okay, So yeah, I love the idea of being Tomato that spills the beans, and Lemon kind of already has started to, but all Lemon has really done, the purpose of Lemon's dollar box there is to show the difference of that Apple kind of is the odd one out. He is the black sheep, and that like furthers that, not, you know, and tells us more about that. Because we haven't really said that yet, you know. We've shown that Apple doesn't, that there's a bit of differences going on here in these particular lines. where Apple's like, your plan, you mean I would rather not sacrifice anybody. So he shows is different there. So we can see little hints of Apple being different, but we further it here with Lemon's dialogue. We further Apple's differences in morals there. So we're going to reveal now what it is. I am not sure how we're going to do it, but we'll do it. Right, so I want us to paint a number of ferocious monsters that will allow us to conquer the local area. Right, so where's that bow description that National gave us earlier? Where did I put that? Because I think it could be that. I think that could be what we use. Might have to zoom out to find it. Here it is. Hey. There it is. Disappeared then. Right, so if we can somehow merge these two. So we got Plum. I want us to paint a number of ferocious monsters that will allow us to conquer the area. That is basically what their motivation is, and we don't want to word it like that. As I've said many a times, it's silly when villains do that, when they just say what their evil plans are. So we're gonna accidentally get an aggressive, young, foolish, reckless character spill the beans accidentally instead, and it'd be cool if he says it in a really violent way, like he's like something like how we've got here, and the whole plan is kind of spilled in with that. That's kind of where I'm thinking. So we'll see how we can approach that. Drift Tricking, thank you for the follow. Just happened to stumble on this channel randomly and clicking around. This is a really cool project following. Thank you so much. I appreciate your kind words. And I think the bot has been posting commands like our website and our YouTube channel. So everything should be there. If you've got any questions at all, feel free to ask any more about the project. I'm in the process of making an FAQ page, so you know, be cool to know what sort of questions people are curious about, and I've already got a few in mind. But thank you very much. Thank you for the follow. I'm glad that the project seems cool. We're working on dialogue today, folks, and it's all about putting the scene together, and it's been very, very fun and challenging, and it gets your creativity really tested, that's for sure. Okay, so I mean, we don't have to have Blueberry speak. We can like literally just have him hovering a lot besides Lemon and being all happy and cute. But we'll see, because I might think of something off stream later that Blueberry could say. There could be a spot for him. But you know, Blueberry could reveal it with with Tomato. They could do it together, because they're both the children. But Tomato definitely feels like the obvious one that would. Okay. I want to pay a number of ferocious monsters to allow us to conquer the local area. He could just be like, I guess the obvious thing to do would be to reveal the monsters, like let us conquer. Because he could literally just respond to what Lemon said and be like, yeah, that's dumb. That's dumb. You know, we should just conquer now, and like, something like that, like just full on rage and then revealing the plan. We could do it more simple in that way. And then Plum could just be like, shh. And then that's when we all freak out, because Plum's already warned him before. He's already said, be careful, child, don't reveal our plans to strangers. So he could like literally be like, shush, shush. But it's too late, because he'll have already said at this point what it is. And then Carol, you're insane. Don't know, I'm still not sure about the you are insane line. I'm not sure I like that. There'll be something that springs to mind though. It's just this tomato spilling the plan thing that's the hard bit now. If we can do that, I think we're well on our way to getting this framework finished. It would be, it would be so cool if Blueberry revealed it too with a pun, like, and he's like, but it's gonna be real, you know, hard to pull that off. But it'd be cool. Have to be super clever though to do that. Right, so I'm not gonna give up though. I'm gonna see if we can do that. You could say, I thought he'd have opened his eyes to more effective measures by now, or something like that. Or more. I don't know if effective measures is the right way to say it, but you know what I mean. Something that will, Blueberry can respond to be like conquering, kill. And we're like, hang on a minute. What? And then Tomato's like, yeah, and he kind of just expands and he's like, yeah, let's get those ferocious monsters and get them, paint them, bring them to life, wrap Rose's head, a bow or whatever, get all gory. And then it's all spilled at that point. Something like that. That is kind of my thought process at the moment. Like Blueberry to accidentally reveal it in a pun. Like conquer and kill, I don't know if that was the right one, because how would we make something rhyme with conquer and kill? Like Lemon would have to say something that provokes Blueberry to say it more, you know. Otherwise it's going to just seem totally random and you know, we want to do it less smartly. National Holy Buckets, have you all sprung a leak? If insane's no fun. Yeah, insane, there's just something about it that's a bit cliche. I think that's what it is, National. And I think we could like totally get creative, because Carol's witty and we want it to be full of funny, amusing lines. And I think that's a definite improvement and more amusing than a You're Insane. So, okay, so we'll have that for now, we'll say. And Master Emerald, thank you so much for the raid. How are you doing? So good to see you, Master Emerald. How was your stream? Hello. What are you doing today? Oh, you were in creative. Is that a directory again now? I didn't even think it was. Is it? Have Twitch listened to my dreams? Because I made this tweet of a day. I was like, put the right well-built category. Just for joke, because I wanted to. And for sure, I would totally not complain if creative is back. Is it literally back? I thought it was totally removed from Twitch altogether. I didn't think it was a thing anymore. But I hope you had fun. What did you do? Tell us. Doing good, creative exists. Is there a community there, like, still? Or was it totally dead? Because holy crap, that would be amazing. I would totally go into creative. The only reason, like, science and technology, I like this really cool, like, exposure in that category, and some awesome people find out about my project in science and technology. So I'm hesitant to leave for that reason. But I would be so happy as well if creative became like a thriving community again, because it used to be. I was working on the game and that felt more appropriate than science and tech. Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel, and that's why I'm like, I really wish there was a writing and world building category, because I feel weird streaming under science and technology when I'm doing writing dialogue. I really do. And I do, like I was like saying earlier in the stream, I feel a bit like an imposter, because especially when people come in stream and are like, what are you coding and what language are you coding? And I'm like, well, we just write dialogue here, we just write a story. So, you know, I get those feelings sometimes. But that's super cool. I hope it was productive and fun. So I'm having to put my brain into gear now, folks. I've got to do some thinking to think how to smartly tie lemon, blueberry and tomatoes dialogue lines together at this point. These particular lines, these are just, ignore these guys. These are just drafts for now. But there should be a story writing section. There should. Anything that says writing or, you know, anything to that degree should be there. I mean, come on, Twitch. Why? Writing is one of the most common creative things, and it isn't there. I feel like it's so underlooked and unappreciated, the fact that it isn't there. And it's totally streamable as well, isn't it, guys? Like, how is writing not streamable? The creative thought and brainstorming process of it is something like that can totally be done with Twitch chat, and they can be getting involved. So I feel like should be there totally. The zest of youth has closed his eyes, lemon of apple. Oh my goodness, I like it. And I'm wondering about youth, because is apple even young? I mean, he is to lemon, I suppose. When you think of it that way, apple is very young to lemon because he's an old man. When I think youth, I think tomato and blueberry because they're the babes, the group. But apple's probably an adult. But yes, lemon is a fair bit older. He'd be like a dad to apple. So, and I really love, like, I adore that sort of talk where characters like talk in their sort of way where it's all fruit themed, for example, and the language used, it relates to them being fruits. It just adds so much. I'm really a fan of that description. Mars for sure. So where he says, I thought he'd have opened his eyes by now, which is kind of what I'm getting at. Like, you know, that is a first draft. And Mars has just like took it that much further by giving it a fruit like spin. It's like spinning it into something fruit themed. And I love it. This is why I'm saying again, writing is something you can do with Twitch chat. I can say for sure after doing these writing dialogue streams that it works very well. So it needs to be a category for sure. It would open more for the community too, like people writing stories and others can join in with their ideas similar to what you're doing. Exactly. And I mean, I would love more people to do what I'm doing. I think it's very good. Like, coming together as a group, writing something, like as one person, you know, you're only one person. Your ideas are limited being one person. But having a group together and they're like, this could work on this. Like, they're throwing ideas at you, and yes, you might not be able to have them all because that's impossible to make it work, have all of them. But some of them, like, you think, yeah, and you might not have thought that yourself, and that's why it works so good. That I love that this is a community game. I've said many a times that this would not be what it is if it wasn't a community. Like, if this was just me doing this in my bedroom and not on stream, this would not be even a tenth of how fun it's and how awesome it is. So, I mean, Carol the Barrel wouldn't exist if it wasn't for you guys. It was Silent and Lost who comes into these streams that by accident created Carol the Barrel. So, wouldn't even have been a thing. I would never have thought of a sentient barrel character in a million years. Never. So yeah, let's get that line in because I love it. And I just hope you all know, guys, of course, people who have heavily contributed, people like Zexion, people like Elite, people like National Mars and Twisted Mouse, and people like you guys who directly influence the dialogue and stories with your decisions, you will get credited, like in the credits of the game. And the community, most of you will be credited, but obviously the people who have contributed more heavily will be like more higher up in the credits as well, and specifically for writing or dialogue sections in the credits as well. Liquid, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that. How are you doing? Welcome. And I credit you by your Twitch name as well, of course. Okay, so how was it written before? I thought it'd have opened his eyes by now. The zest of youth has closed his eyes. Yeah, so that's turning it the other way. Instead of opened his eyes, it's turned into closed his eyes. And, you know, that could work. I hope it gets to the point enough, guys, like that it's the opposite of opened your eyes. So, we'll use that for now. I like it. Right, so guys, what's the time? We've still got time. We've got time to do this. Right, and we might need to make a slight edit to some of Lemon's dialogue here if we find a really perfect couple of words for Blueberry to yell out, and then we couldn't purposely make him turn them into a pun or something. That's what I'm trying to do. Something like, the zest of youth has closed his eyes to better ideas. I'm just thinking of expanding that just a touch. More effective measures. I think that's a little bit wordy. More effective measures. I'd rather it to be shorter and sweeter. But the reason why I want that that extra bit is because I'm thinking Blueberry would literally say something like conquer and kill. Not conquer and kill particularly, but he'd literally sum up what the other fruits want to do and like reveal the effective measures by accident, because he's a child and he just doesn't know what he's saying. I'll just put that there for now, because the reason why I don't know if it should be conquer and kill exactly, I might think of other words instead, is because I want it to not seem random. I want it to at least fit or rhyme with something that Lemon said here, because that's kind of what's been happening with lemon and blueberry beforehand. For example, I got a bad feeling about that one. He got a bad peeling. Left a sour taste in my mouth, a very sour taste. So as you can see from that, those two, their dialogue, blueberry always like says something lemon says, blueberry says as well, but he always says it in like a pun, silly way. And it could totally work where we do the same thing here, and blueberry like has said something about what lemon said, but also that revealed the plan too. So it's a tricky one, because it's not easy to do smartly. It could easily seem really weird and random if not thought out, but I'm just going to see if there's any rhymes to the word conquer or kill, or any similar words to conquer, and we can like cleverly insert that word into Lemon's dialogue somewhere, and then it would fit. That's really cool about you been helping me heaps in my project. I just spent an hour doing something I thought was simple, adding my own sprite animation. Finally got it to work in RPG Maker. I'm so happy, yay! Well, I'm glad it's helping as well, because I mean, I'm learning as well as I do this, so it's super fun. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to list some conquer and kill themed words for Blueberry to say, and it'll be those words that will be the start of the secret being spilt. So conquer, kill, annihilate. Now that's a bit of a complicated word, so I don't know whether that one will be the one. But I'm trying to turn one of these into a pun, you see. And I'm no pro at puns, so they don't all immediately come to my mind. Destroy. Beat. Defeat. Flatten and slaughter, but they're sort of words Tomato would say. Like I could imagine Blueberry saying something like that, and Tomato being like, yeah, we'll flatten and slaughter them with and paint those ferocious monsters and bring them to life and conquer the forest, or conquer, and then that is like revealed it then, basically. It's messy what I'm saying in my head, but if we can always, you know, make it work. Okay, so I'd love to do this before the end of the stream, and I know that we're going to put a poll up for what Blueberry wants for his birthday, guys. I know we were going to do that, but I'm going to do it on Monday instead, because I know we'll be finished with the dialogue and moving on to the scene making next week. But like I said, I'm expecting a few little words and phrases to be changed around even when we've done the scene making, you know. This editing of the dialogue isn't going to be over today, you know, there's a lot to do still. So need to figure out a word that could rhyme with one of these and make fit it into Lemon's sentence. Zest, he's already said zest, but I'd rather it be one that's at the end of the Lemon sentence, because that would just make more sense. The zest of youth has closed his eyes to more because I don't like the more effective measures phrase at all. Closed his eyes to, it could literally be anything, to bet other ideas, to better methods, to smarter ideas, anything at all. But he has to say something like that, because without that we're not going to realise that the other fruits have their own goal and a different, and in their opinion, better goal. You know, we have to have something to go off that kind of brings us onto the topic of this other idea that they have. Otherwise it's all going to just seem random if we don't refer to that, I guess. So something like better ideas or smarter methods, or anything at all. There's dozens of ways of words we could use here, but that's what's cool, because we can totally make one of them words rhyme with one of these if we can. I mean, that's a challenge, but I just would really love it if we can do that, because it'd just stop it all just from seeming random. It would be more cleverly put together and thought of, you know. Fruitful endeavours. That's a good one too. The zest of youth has closed his eyes to more fruitful endeavours. I like it. Is it like malicious sounding enough though? I kind of would like it if it clearly sounded like that. I do like it, and it's definitely worth putting down, especially because it's fruit themed, and you know I've got a soft spot for that. Fruitful endeavours. And so if it's a more simple word, it'll work even better, because it'll be easier to make rhyme with something that's kill themed for Blueberry to say next. Because this is what I'm trying to do, guys. I'm trying to do exactly what we've done in the past with Blueberry and Lemon, where he's followed it with something that rhymes. A word like feeling, it was turned into peeling. Berry sour taste was from the whole taste in a mouth thing, and they worked very well, and we're really grateful. I mean, Blueberry doesn't always copy a word Lemon says. Sometimes he just follows on from what Lemon said. So you know, if it's going to be too impossible, we could always do it that way too. Because yeah, really what Blueberry's doing is just expanding on these fruitful endeavours, what they actually are, which is conquer and kill. But if we can turn it into a pun and make it less random, that would be even smarter, I think. You know, you get what I'm trying to do, don't you? I'm trying to make it come out a bit more punny and a little bit less random and obvious. So I'm just trying to like consider different words and different things here. How about zest of youth has soured him to more appealing methods? Appealing, because fruits get peeled. Yeah, I like appealing. The zest of youth has soured him to more appealing methods. Yeah, I like that. I do. I really do. Let's have a think. Because closed his eyes was good, but this is probably better. And I like soured because it's lemon themed. I do really like this a lot. I'm really fond of fruit themed words. So the zest of youth has soured the zest of youth has soured him. Is it his youth that has soured him though, do you think? Or is it just his morals that has soured him? Because youth, as we know, doesn't stop people being evil. Look at Tomato and Blueberry for one. The zest of youth has soured him to more appealing methods. And if we we could put that word in italics. Soured him to more appealing methods. And appealing, like, we could just, you know, it would totally be okay if we just had Blueberry say, like, conquering and killing right now, but I know I'm still unsure whether that's too random and whether we need to be more clever about it and be more of a, turn it more into more of a pun. But it is hard. It's very tough, this sort of thing, is, you know, when you're trying to think. I mean, we could always merge it so that the note where he goes home noble, we could say nobleness has soured him to more appealing methods. I don't think that makes sense, but you know what I'm getting at. Because we've mentioned that he's noble, but we could always just replace that noble bit with the youth bit, because it's more about him being noble than being young, I reckon. Because in fact, if you're young, you actually can be more easily manipulated. Tomato and Blueberry are definitely that. But it could be life experiences that have made them evil. I think from what we've learned about Tomato, life experience has definitely done that to him. Because we learned from the bravery route that he was bullied. Blueberry, though, it's probably more being manipulated that's turned him evil, and listening. Being sweet and innocent and not realising and listening to evil adults is what has made Blueberry evil. Okay, guys, so, right, I am going to be thinking about closing things up soon. If anybody at all has any final thoughts or ideas, now is the time to say, because I won't be streaming until Monday now, and I will be at least working on this and getting that framework done. I'm going to try and 100% get this done, this whole revealing of the plans part, before Monday, because I want to 100% move on to the scene making Monday. I don't want to still be doing dialogue on Monday. So I'm not going to be too strict about getting everything 100% perfect, because I'm expecting to make some changes to some of the wording and some of the dialogue. But if we can get that framework in and everything, all the flows connected, then that is really the main thing. And we'll make a start on the scene. Obviously, we'll start from this point. We'll get this part done, and we'll get the introduction of the fruits done, where they jump out of the fruit basket and all this bit. So it'll probably just be the first half of the scene here that we get done anyway, which is mostly done. It's really these bits and this bit that need doing, but I still want to get them done. Okay, have enjoyed the stream, have been working on my writing while I listened. Awesome, I hope everything's been going well. Try. And oh yeah, I need to give Nevermore his raindrops, because he's on a new name. So users, let's have a look. No, it's not users, it's currency that it's under. But you never. Did you have another name as well with OW at the end of it? Because looking at this, you had raindrops on that one as well. You had 66 raindrops on that account. And you have 28 raindrops on your Nevermore account. So that's 94 raindrops. You have 94 raindrops then that needs to be added. Right, so Oh wow, didn't realise I had so many on my own name. You did do, yeah. So you have 94 airdrops, so that should make, because you have 36 on this one at the moment, so that will turn it into 130 if we add 94 to that, if my maths is correct. So Nevermore, how many hours was that for you? You were in the stream for 7 hours before, so, and both your accounts put together, so that will make it 10 hours in stream and 130 raindrops. So if you check now, you should see the update. You're all out of your baskets. These puns have been a lot of fun. Looking at Blueberry, he could say, like, to come create a matter, meaning to conquer a murder. Oh, that's interesting. Because that's what I was thinking. Something along those lines, National, where there's a misspelling. So it's sort of like a pun and a misspelling in one, but also obvious what he means at the same time. I mean, I personally wouldn't know that means conquer murder, because I'm a bit silly like that, but I'm going to look into it for sure. And it's not like it has to be super obvious. Sometimes if it's something that is subtle, but then obviously us as the player someone freaks out and he's like, hang on, I know what that means, like Carol could say that or something, and that's when everything freaks out and Tomato gets super violent and starts talking about ferocious monsters he wants to bring to life, and then it's all out at that point and they know what they're planning. So I have copied and pasted what you've said, National, and when I work on the edit over the weekend, I will update it with these things, and anything at all that I've edited as well, I'll be showing you guys first thing on Monday. So I'm going to delete Nevermore's old names now, because Nevermore's raindrops should be updated. Yay, top 250, yay, GG. So yeah, make sure you always tell me if you did have old names, because if you don't, all that'll happen is you won't get those raindrops. They'll all go to waste, which would be terrible. So that's awesome. Now you've got more. So huzzah, guys. Okay, so yeah, there's more to do before this is done, but we really are getting there. We're getting there, guys. The framework, it's literally just about joining these bits now. The part from where they admit what they're doing, conquering and killing, and linking it to where Carol freaks out and the hero draws his weapon and they all prepare for battle, and we've kind of got something going here that's neatly done, and literally just linking that we need to do now. And like I said, we might have an opportunity where we want to expand on some of these and reveal more character development here. There's an opportunity to also make them clear they want to use Carol and chop her up into an easel or something. So there's a few little things like that, and I've got all notes of it in my notepad. So I'll be working on that, guys, over the weekend before Monday. And so if you don't know, I'm going to remind you again, guys, before I head off. Schedule change. Just a small schedule change. It's not going to change much. I'm still streaming at the same times on those days. So instead of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, it's Monday, Wednesday and Friday now. So that I've spread it out more. I've got days off in between. I'm not doing all streaming days in a row anymore. I'm having the days off in between, which will be really helpful for me to get some behind the scenes work done on those days. So I'm more prepared and ready for each stream. And I'm adding an extra hour onto those days, an extra stream hour. So we will be starting at 2 rather than 3, which if obviously in UK time. I've been starting at 3 lately streams, but I'll be starting at 2 now instead. Give us an extra hour. So even though we're streaming one day less, we're not really losing stream time because we're just adding an extra hour to the stream. So we're still doing the 12 hours a week streams as that we're still doing. So really not much has changed. It's just a slight alteration, which I think will really be good and ideal for me and for the project. So just remind you, I will make a note on Discord as well, so people who weren't in stream today know about this too. And I will see you all on Monday. So Monday's the next stream again. And yay, I'm excited, and I will be playing this after my dinner today as well. So I'm going to rush off today. I'm not going to be doing a raid as much as I like to do them, and the reason why I can't is because my dinner's ready right now. It is 6:15 and I was meant to have gone off ages ago. So I'm going to have to rush off now, and I will see you all on Monday. Bye bye.